welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. This week we are focusing in on innovation, and that's innovation and also the things that keep business owners and CEOs up at night around innovation. And today I have Richard Panton, one of our Vistage members, our longstanding Vistage members, who has spent not quite all time, but his company has spent 50 years innovating in the tech space. And I don't know, Richard, when your family started this business 50 years ago, if the term tech was even used. You tell me.
It probably wasn't, and definitely the world that we play in, although is still cornered in the display area. Obviously, CRTs are far and few between these days, but still made. But a lot of changes. I would say the word tech was in its infancy because you even go into the company's name. The founder of the company used tech as part of Dontech's name because he had to create a fictitious name and selling to the high-end electronics world. Many technology companies had technology in the name. So I would say tech was used, but our world has changed greatly.
Yeah. So tell us about Dontech. Just give us a quick overview of the problems you solve as a company.
So my kind of what I'll call an elevator speech of what Dontech does is we custom engineer and manufacture high-end optics, and we solve problems with the display industry and the precision optics industry. And it's probably easiest to give end examples. So military cockpit display, the F-35, we provide sunlight readability and we harden the product so electromagnetic noise can't get in through the optical aperture and cause the aircraft to function improperly. On a precision optics side, it could be a targeting system, let's say on the Apache helicopter, where it could be a high-end industrial application like a laser de-icing system. So when your plane is being de-iced, the person operating the equipment doesn't decide where the ice is. They have a targeting system that finds the ice and it squirts the fluid in the needed areas of the craft. And our products, again, we don't make the systems, but we make the systems perform better. We don't have an off-the-shelf product. We probably produce between 100 and 150 different custom products every month. We might produce one of something, and we could produce thousands of something in a given month.
That's impressive. Boy, that sounds like innovation. So how does Dontech approach the whole idea of innovation and to all those products that you just mentioned? How do you bring them to market? What's your philosophy? How's it work?
Well, I'll give a quick kind of story. My belief is there's three types of businesses in the world. You have your efficiency business. Amazon, Walmart might be great examples of those, where they squeeze pennies out of manufacturing costs. Customer service, I'll pick one of my favorites, Nordstrom's. Years ago, I was giving a talk at HP. The airline sent my clothing to Vegas. I was dressed inappropriately. At the time, everyone wore suits. And I'm in Seattle. I fill out the paperwork. As I'm leaving the airport, I see a mall. I get there 15 minutes after they closed. Nordstrom's opened the store for me as a form of excellent customer service. And then you look at a traditionally regarded as one of the capstone type companies in innovation, 3M. They make an adhesive that doesn't stick, and then they create a market called a Post-it. Dontech is a kind of a hybrid between a Nordstrom's and a 3M. So as a form of customer service, we work with our key customers and we find out where they have problems, and we kind of create that next generation product. More simple way of saying this, a division of General Dynamics a handful of years ago said to me, he goes, Richard, he goes, I look at Dontech as an extension of our engineering department. We get something, it's 80% done, and then you take it further and you help pull us to where we need to be 5 years from today. And so, every company, even the 3M, their pockets are only so deep, but with tangible problems that if we can solve them, it becomes an item that customers that we've already vetted know that can afford to pay our overhead. We're roughly 35% technically formally educated here. So we have a very big overhead. We have a lot of metrology equipment. We have a lot of development manufacturing equipment where we can run the smaller batches to vet designs before we go into the higher volumes. And so we found that partnership probably our greatest value proposition to feed viable programs. Are we 100% successful? No, but we have a very, very high success rate of solving problems and creating those new permutations of products, in some cases, totally different products. We have a project right now that's not optically based at all, and it's for a military application, and it's extremely high volumes, and taking some of the technical expertise, we're 80% there, solve the biggest technical hurdle that they're having on their systems.
Appreciate that, and I appreciate the confidentiality too. That so you got to be. I know we got to be a little careful in what you share. So in all that innovation in all that process that you do to bring all these products, one of the things our viewers are always interested in is, so what keeps you up at night? What's in innovation? What are the things that you're wrestling with?
Well, there's probably the two biggest fears I have are, one, can we do it at the speed of business? And with that, you constantly have to pull in that next generation of talent, and people have to be willing to continuously learn. And so just because you've been able to do it for 50 years doesn't mean you're going to be able to continue to be a leader. So that's one element that gives me gray hair. And then the other element is, have we properly vetted it? Some things we do very, very quickly, but there's that check and balance, and in some cases, we've had to slow down the program because there's only so much you can do in the lab, and you have to field test to make sure that you're not missing anything. And so when you release a brand new technology, we've been fortunate in the 50 years of business, we've never had a recall situation. But the potential of that, and as things get more and more complex, and also when you go into new arenas, I wake up thinking, did I miss something? The team, did I miss something? And and having, all the checks and balances. And so often we'll pick if we're kind of expanding in a new area, we'll run a program below cost if we can find a partner that does have only a low volume need, and their budget may only be half of what it costs us to build, but we value that relationship because they will do the field testing, they know it's developmental, and they'll give us the feedback that helps, kind of kick the tires on that next generation type product.
I get it.
But you can't totally mitigate everything, and so I wake up at 2 a.m.
Now you're a long-standing Vistage member. You meet monthly with about a dozen of like-minded business owners, and of course, nobody is a competitor of yours in that. And so, how has the Vistage model helped you innovate and overcome some of these things that might get you up at 2 a.m?
What you find is, although the businesses are different, many of the problems are the same. And my background with Dontech is I grew up on the engineering side of the business. Other CEOs in our Vistage group grew up in different paths. And so I find that when you're talking about a business problem, whether it be technical or not, by having that Vistage group, you can glean a lot of knowledge from their experience, but you also get a lot of perspective from people that approach a problem from a different background. And I find whether it's a general business problem or a technical problem, perspective is priceless.
That's great. I appreciate that. Well, we're about out of time. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy, and I want to thank everybody for joining us. And Richard, thank you again for your time.
You're welcome.